Yo, what's up, guys? It's KB. Thanks for tuning in to another video here on the Outside the Box Podcast YouTube channel. If you like the content you're seeing from us here, be sure to smash that like button, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos, leave a comment down below, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into another original video here on the Outside the Box Podcast YouTube channel.
Welcome into another episode.
Hey, you gotta cut that part out, dog. Ruining my reputation out here.
Welcome back into another episode of the Outside the Box College Show. It is the third one with Uncle Deej and my little nephew over there, making quite the name for himself. Hoots. This episode, Outside the Box College Show, is powered by our friends at 47, truly the best headwear and apparel in the game. And with their vast collection of collegiate gear, they will make sure you're repping your favorite college lacrosse team all season long. So use our link in the description to shop with 47 and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. Just make an account as it's free and start earning points on every purchase you make and turn those points into free gear. Again, use our link in the description to shop with 47 and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. Shout out to 47 for being a proud partner of OTB College, and the official headwear partner of Underground Industries. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod. You can do it on YouTube at the Underground Industries on YouTube. Sorry, at the Underground Industries on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But on Twitter, it is at the U Industries. Make sure you follow and subscribe on the pod there. And also do so Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, wherever you like to find, listen to, and download your podcast. Don't forget to follow my nephew across from me, Hoots, my man, Hoots Sports Media on all platforms, without a .com for now. And obviously you can follow me. You can follow me at SCS_NextGreat on Twitter. You can now find me on Instagram at Uncle Deej12. Uncle Deej12. You can follow me on Instagram. You can find all my other socials between those two accounts. And don't forget to also give a shout out to my boy K Bizzle. You can find him at KBIZZ311 on Twitter. And then it's
L311.
Thank you. My bad. KIBZZL311 on Twitter. And then it is KIBZZLE311 on Instagram. Make sure to show him some love. He's always doing amazing things for us on the back end, but also putting in amazing work for himself and doing things that make him happy. So now that we have gotten the obligatories out of the way, Neff, update Unc on how you feeling this week.
Feeling good. Got a chill week this week, comparatively, which was nice. Just the one game for me on Saturday. Got to watch a Duke game on Friday, which was fun. So slowly but surely trying to get my schedule down a little bit to kind of align with more games, but that's proving to be difficult from what I can tell. But Seahawks won, so that was great as well. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, what'd you do for the big game yesterday? You and the family get together and watch and laugh at all the
we kind of just like hate watched. Yeah, honestly, this was like the least I paid attention to the actual like the entire thing.
Yes. Like
I don't know. I feel like it's just different. Like once your team gets so close and then doesn't get in, it's like not that I don't care, but like usually I watch like everything. This year, I was kind of off and on, like paying attention. I was like, I'm just gonna go. I hit golf balls at halftime. I was on social media.
Are you telling me you didn't watch the halftime show?
I saw the clips of it, but I didn't watch most of the game or anything. I can't tell you a single commercial.
The halftime show.
I didn't watch like any of. I'm telling you, I didn't watch any commercials. I can't tell you a single commercial that played. Like,
oh, dude, you missed some.
As soon as my team got eliminated, bro.
Man.
As soon as my team got eliminated, I was like, I'm not watching this. Like, I just wanted to see Seattle hoist the Lombardi. That's about it. I dedicated the entire fourth quarter to voting for Jason Myers for MVP.
And I really wish he would have gotten it because he deserved it. Did you see the Marist football tweets?
No.
They were, dude. Every time he scored, they were tweeting out Maris and the amount of points he's had at that point. Patriots 0. It was so funny because he had the first 12 points of the game.
This is hilarious. Like
it's
their
so
entire
funny.
feed right now is just Jason Myers.
Yes.
That's
they literally
great,
just for like Maris football 12, Patriots 0.
That is so funny, dude.
I was like, this is nuts. Like, this is what I need, like, for a college lacrosse program to do this at one point during a game where some kid's just going nuts. It's like, I need them to compare. Like, that would be insane and so much fun. Or like a high school program did it. They see one of their guys like balling out at the next level and they're just like, hey, look at this dude. He used to play for us. We beaten them by ourselves.
That's what Loyola needs to do for Pat Spencer.
Oh my God, in basketball, it would be amazing.
Every single game.
But yeah, no, you missed, to me, one of the greatest halftime shows we've seen. It was spectacular. That's what I heard. I had a fantastic time watching. Did I understand a ton of it? No. Did I understand some of it? Yes. Did I have a good time? Yeah. I almost got up and started dancing. The music.
You got that high school Spanish vocab coming back to you?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it left off. But yeah, like I enjoyed it. I almost got up and danced because the music was moving. I didn't need to understand a single word. The music was good music. And I had a good time watching. And then some of the commercials were great. Like, there was a Mike Tyson commercial about, like, eating real food. Dog, I pissed my pants. Because, one, Mike Tyson already talks with a lisp. He's goofy, and you're asking him to be serious. It just does not mix. And then we're talking about him and real food when he bit someone's ear off. Yeah, I was cackling, dog. And then there was like one for a prostate pill, and they were talking about like tight ends with tight ends, and like dog, they had some wild commercials, dog, and it was like, y'all are like, none of the commercials like made sense until the end. And I was like, this is not what commercials are supposed to be about. I'm supposed to know exactly what the commercial is for from the beginning. Yeah. and a lot of them just didn't make sense until the end. But I had a lot of time watching the game, or a lot of fun watching the game, just because of the people I was around. I didn't pay as much attention. I really wish you guys would have made it, and the circumstances weren't the way they were, because this was such a Mayo Super Bowl. They just felt like,
well, and especially after like the first half was all field goals, I was like, dude,
yeah,
like we would be at least in this game, and it was, that made me even less interested in everything, because I was just like, it's easier when like your team sucks and you're just like, oh, it's the last game of the year, it's just fun, and then I was just like, I don't care about any of it. Like, it just desensitized at this point. It's all right. Next season is what it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That ends one season, but there is another season that popped off last weekend, and we call that a segue. Young Neff, make sure you take that with you. All right. But talk to me about the women's game. A full slate went down this weekend, starting on Friday for the women's scoreboard. And it's running through today, so we'll catch you up kind of up until then. But did anything pop out at you?
No, I didn't get to watch any of these games, unfortunately. I don't know how we didn't talk about it last week, because even just Friday alone has like infinite games, it feels like.
It was just a total drop.
A lot of blowouts.
I'm going to be honest. It was a total drop ball by Unc. Like, when we set the schedule last week, I didn't even think to take a peek at the women's game, so I didn't even think to put it on the schedule. And so it went right over the head. And it's like, we had a ranked matchup for on Friday. There was an overtime game and a double overtime game on Friday. Like, there was another ranked match. There were 5 ranked matchups this week. Hey, Unk is terrible. There were 5 ranked matchups on
week one.
on
It's
Friday.
fine.
That's a drop ball by Unk. I ain't gonna be doing that too often. I'm gonna take y'all through the highlights real quick. Robert Morris over Georgetown, 11-10 in overtime. Like, hello. That was just the first overtime game of the weekend. You also got Drexel over UConn in double overtime, 12-11. You got Kent State over Lindenwood, 12-11 in overtime. And then we get into the ranked matchups where you got number 1 North Carolina taking down 20 ranked James Madison, 19-11. Duke took down High Point 14-6. 16th ranked Navy over number 8 Virginia, 12-10. 19 ranked Army took down Rutgers 19-14. It's actually really cool that they matched up men's and women's this past weekend and both played each other a day after. That's really cool. Maryland gets the best of Syracuse again in the women's game, taking them down 9-5 at the Dome. So they went up to the Dome, took care of business, took down Syracuse once again. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's 4 of the last 6, but do not quote me on that. Literally, do not quote me on that at all. I'm not guaranteed to know that, but I just vaguely remember seeing something like around those numbers that Maryland has gotten the best of Syracuse in the women's game of the recent times. What else went down this weekend was number 2 Northwestern 20-12 victory over number 3 Boston College. Crazy matchup to open the year on. That is a crazy matchup to open the year on, and I'm mad I missed it. There's a good chance that game is on ESPN, and if it is, I tell you guys right now, Unc will report back next week after watching that game on replay if it's there. And then Notre Dame, 22 ranked Notre Dame takes down 12th ranked Michigan, 12-10. That was down at our Lotta Stadium in South Bend, Indiana. And that was all just on Friday. 23rd ranked Penn State takes down Richmond, 10-9. John Hopkins took down Liberty 17-7. John Hopkins 9th in the country. Clemson climbing up to 10 after just getting into D1 a couple of years ago. They're already 10th in the country. 20-5 victory over Vanderbilt, as that was part of the early slate on Saturday. Oregon took down Arizona State 12-11 in overtime. The big marquee thing about Saturday was Florida and Maryland getting postponed, as that was 4th ranked Maryland against 18th ranked Loyola, which would have been a fantastic game. Nothing notable happening on Sunday there. And then there's some things going down today. Nothing super notable, although Colorado and Northwestern are currently playing as we are recording at about 8:30 p.m. Monday Eastern time. Colorado currently leads Northwestern 3-1 with 2:48 left in the first quarter. So number 2 Northwestern in some trouble after that big victory they picked up against Boston College this weekend. Any of those scores kind of jump out at you, or kind of, as I was reading them, anything raise an eyebrow?
I mean, 25-0 Notre Dame. I don't really care who you're playing. That's a huge spread.
Oh, on Sunday?
On Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, over Central Michigan. Yeah.
But there's a lot of these games that are just kind of like the men's game. It's just a lot of blowouts. Week 1, which, I mean, you kind of come to expect to a degree. Still have games postponed, which, that is what it is. But it looks like there was also a lot of really competitive matchups, which is still good, especially when you have a slate as big as this week's was. So that's cool too. And then obviously it looks like there's still a bunch more games the rest of the week too. So hopefully we'll see the teams that haven't played yet in action this weekend. and maybe we can hopefully get to watch some of them as well on ESPN Plus. Hopefully.
Yeah, I do know for a fact that a good bout of these games on Friday and Saturday were on ESPN. I'm just not sure exactly which specific ones were until I get a chance to go and look. But I did see on Friday a bunch of those games um, on the on live. So I just didn't get a chance to stream a lot of them, which I'm gonna have to find a way to start streaming a lot more of these games now that we have a specific dedicated podcast to such. But that leads us right into a lot more games that we did see this weekend, and we're kicking off, our recap, touching in with you, Neff, and how the sideline report. Give it to me. How was the game out in Denver that you got to shoot this weekend? And what'd you take in?
Yeah, another blowout win for Denver. Not a great showing for Air Force at all. Only 2 goals. They had 2 guys with a goal each. Denver seemed to kind of take this one a little bit slower, from what I could tell. It just felt like they weren't in a rush, almost like they just kind of knew that if they just held the ball long enough, they could score. Cody Malosky had a nasty alley-oop around the world situation at one point. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Merrick, number 34 for the Pios. It's Tzagournis, however you say that. Dude is a baller. All right, certified baller. I'm talking about Cody Malosky. Only 2 points in this game. That's all he really needed. And they spread the ball around a ton. They were ultra physical in a good way. They had a couple hits that I thought were kind of iffy that were called flags, at least in real time. Some of them I felt like were just kind of bang bang plays, and the refs kind of blew the whistle. So, that is what it is. Thankfully, it didn't affect them in this one. But Air Force just seems super disconnected right now, and just I don't know. It just that's honestly the best way I can put it. It's just disconnected. Especially after last year, I felt like they kind of had some momentum. Obviously, you lose Josh Yago, and there's going to be roster turnover regardless. But, I don't know. There was even a point in the fourth quarter where an Air Force player had literally a wide open lane to shoot the ball. I'm talking they got 30 feet of just open lane. They don't step up to shoot. They don't shoot. They hesitate. All of a sudden, I think it was a turnover. And that type of thing happened all game long. So good for the Pios. Awful start for Air Force, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what's your opinion on Denver and the trajectory of their season, just from what you've seen in the first couple of weeks and what they have coming forward? I would assume you know a little bit more about their schedule than some of us may know just off the top of our heads. Is there anything that you're really excited to see in a game that maybe you think you can learn a lot from, or is there a matchup that you may be concerned about that you think may really show some weakness or poke some holes in Denver's game?
I mean, there's a few of them, obviously. Once you get to the bigger schools, I think that's always kind of in the back of your mind. I think the way that Grayson Manning's playing right now, he was unbelievable in this game. He was just seeing the ball so cleanly, and that's back-to-back games that he's done that. Again, I recognize that he's not playing like a ranked opponent, but it just felt like he was just saving the ball cleanly and outletting really well. So my only concern really is just I'd like to see them in a situation where they're picking up the pace a little bit. Cleveland State, it was so easy to score. They put up 20. This game, I felt like they probably could have put up 15 and just were kind of slower about it. Whether that was Air Force doing something defensively or them just literally just slowing the ball down, debatable. But I mean, they have Cornell in a couple of weeks, Michigan the week after, Ohio State, Syracuse, Duke. Once you kind of get past these first few weeks, I feel like there's just some really good defensive teams. And at that point, it's do we see the same piles that we saw last year, where they have some notable guys, but it's still just kind of just a mess, for lack of a better term. And part of this too is that they make the Final Four 2 years ago now, and that was a great team. And to go from that to then what happened last year after they lost a few guys, and to now this, it's definitely going to be an adjustment. But who's to say that they're actually going to struggle against those teams? But if they can kind of take care of business against, Cornell or Michigan, kind of one of those first two like bigger schools, I think they'll be set up pretty well. But honestly, if Grayson Manning plays the way he is the rest of the way, like they're going to be fine regardless.
Is that Michigan game there? At Peter
Yeah.
Barton?
Yeah. So Cornell's here, Michigan's here. We miss Ohio State, and then Syracuse is here.
I really wish that Michigan game was here.
Yeah, 28.
But I may or may not FaceTime you and ask you to just prop me up. Because I'm sure that game is going to be on like Flow Sports or something, and I won't be able to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk and figure that one out because I need my eyes on that. All you got to do is get like a little laptop or iPad or something. Just put me up at the top.
Oh, actually, that one's on Midcoast Sports Plus.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need you to get a little iPad. You just put it up at the top of the bleachers. They'll just think it's a film camera, and I can just yell and scream as much as I want about what I'm seeing. So I think that'll work out just fine. Or I'll just be asking you for actual updates. Something's gonna happen though, because I'm gonna need to know. But yeah, I mean, sounds like you had a good weekend out in the field. Denver looks good so far, and I mean they got some tests coming up, so they'll definitely be continual conversation for us. Big conversation Friday. Battle of D schools, Delaware and Drexel, who used to compete against each other in what is that? They're in Conference USA. American. I can't remember what. I think Drexel's in Conference USA. Let me check.
I couldn't tell you, honestly.
They're in the Colonial, the CAA, Colonial Athletic Association. Drexel has never beat Delaware as a Colonial Athletic Association opponent. The year that Delaware leaves and takes their talents to the A10, they lose. Drexel didn't just beat Delaware, they dominated Delaware 11-1. And that one goal came late in the fourth. It wasn't like Delaware scored early and then Drexel figured it out and poured it on. No, Drexel poured it on from the beginning, and Delaware finally cracked the code at the end and was only able to get one. Pure domination from Drexel. The Dragons looked absolutely fantastic in this game, and it looked like it was like a vendetta being taken out in person right in front of our eyes. Drexel played, I mean, top tier. Delaware's obviously on an 0-2 skid, and I can't wait for them to play Michigan. I'll bring it up again. I propose that they should play for the wings on the helmet. And the loser then next year has to show up to that game without the wings. And then the winner from that game then on gets to wear the wings in that game. So either you have another helmet or you show up in your helmet without the decals on it. But the whole idea is that you're playing for the winged helmet tradition that Delaware stole from Michigan. But still, I think it just would be a cool little wrinkle to add to this, yearly scheduled game that they now have. So, yes, I do want that in the marks for Delaware and Michigan, but I don't think that'll be the case. But when you saw that score come out, anything pop out at you? And just like I was thoroughly shocked to learn that Drexel had never beaten Delaware, and then to have looked at that score and looked at how the game unfolded, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, to score your only goal at like the 6-minute mark in the fourth is that's something. And I mean, it wasn't really like Drexel put it on them necessarily. Like, it wasn't like they were seeing a 15-20 goal game from them. Like, it was 11 goals. I just don't understand how Delaware couldn't get one a quarter, essentially. And especially now you dropped to 0-2 and just because now I feel like it's almost like a way too early must-win situation where you can't lose a bunch of games in a row and expect to still be good later in the year.
Oh no, they're in a they have to win the A10.
Like
They have to.
It's yeah, and
Yeah.
if I mean good for Drexel obviously. Like
Good boost
I
for
mean they
them.
didn't have to do too much. Like you start 1-0 with that when you're putting up 2 and 3 in a quarter and um,
And it's
but
like
yeah,
that's an
wild to
emotional
see.
win. So like that just adds the fuel to the start of your season. You're feeling good. You have the extra
Yep.
momentum and energy on your side. Like now you're pumped and you're ready to like run into the next team that you haven't beat in a couple years or you haven't beat at all. Like you're ready for that energy
Mm-hmm.
now. And I think that can change the trajectory of its season. Granted, it's a long season. It just started, but starting off a season a certain way can definitely benefit you down the road or hinder you down the
Yep.
road. So I think Drexel definitely put themselves in a solid spot with that win. Had another double overtime game. Holy Cross taking down Hofstra uh, in that one. And then which I'll let you take the lead on before I close things out on Friday, Duke and Utah, which you were watching and tweeting about. What's your analysis, Neff, on what was happening out at Cossington Stadium in Denver? I'm pretty
I mean
in Durham. I'm sure I said that wrong, but
it's fine. The only analysis there
I
needs
don't
to be
care.
is it was like such a sloppy game from both teams. Like I thought it was just going to be a first quarter kind of thing, because especially like early on, like Duke's ride was really good. They were forcing turnovers from Utah, and it just felt kind of like okay, Utah has to settle down at some point. And then it was like Duke started throwing the ball away, and Utah just continued that. But then they kind of snuck in goals in between, and it just kind of got to a point where I felt like Utah honestly was just kind of outmatched, and they just. I mean, the second quarter, it felt like they. I think I wrote down it took about 3.5 minutes for them to get on offense after the quarter started. I'd have to go back to double check to see if that's actually accurate, but that's 100% how it felt. And honestly, they let way too many passes go to the middle of the field as well. Like it felt like Duke was just like dumping it at the crease over and over and over again, and Utah just was like letting it happen. And then there were times where they would overcommit on defense as well. And all of a sudden they're running by the shooter who now just has to hit a simple dodge and wide open shot. So again, could just be, kind of early season jitters from Utah playing, a big team like Duke. But that second quarter was killer. And, Duke put up 7 in that quarter alone. Utah had 2 quarters with just 1 goal. And that's how you get to a 14-7 score, essentially. So, not that I think Utah's going to be like horrible, but I just would like to see them be a little bit more disciplined. I think, especially against, like I said, a team that historically is very good.
yeah, they're still in the Patriot League with Air Force and all them.
I
Or
think so. Or are they in the 8? Hang on. I feel like we looked this up last week.
we might have, but I don't be keeping the track of a lot.
They're in the Atlantic Sun Conference.
Okay, the A Sun.
Yeah, so that is A Sun. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, they're in the A Sun. But yeah, I think that they still have a solid chance of winning the A Sun. I don't think a 14-7 loss says a lot about them, but I think I think quarters where you score 2 or less goals are like equivalent to like a 0-goal quarter in a PLL or NLL game. You have to avoid those.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's very hard to win games if you're putting out 0, 1 or 2 goal quarters, especially multiple of them in a game. And I think that's kind of the situation that Utah ran into basically in every quarter of this game, but the second they were able to get 3. But when you're struggling in those other quarters, a 3-goal quarter isn't going to help you. You need somewhat of an outburst at some point, and they just couldn't really get that. But there is a game that had a whole lot of that, but not really. This game ended up going to double overtime. Fairfield and Lehigh in the snow. Absolute insane vibes in this game. Started off 5-3 with Fairfield after 1. And then they were up 9-4 at halftime. 9-4 at halftime. After halftime, they were up 12-6. They had a 6-goal lead going into the fourth quarter. And that right there is when things turned. Lehigh started feeling that home magic. They remembered they were playing lacrosse, and things get simple when you play make it, take it. Things get simple when you just play lacrosse and communicate with each other. Things get simple when you slow the game down and use your instincts. They blow up for a 7-1 fourth quarter, which it ties the game, sends it to overtime, but then Fairfield does what Fairfield does. They won the game in overtime by just being themselves. You know, they worked it around, got to their guy, let him dodge down the alley, and let him finish one. Like, it's that simple sometimes. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching this game, mostly because it reminded me of playing. I played D3 ball in Michigan, which, by the way, shout out Adrian, because them boys got an indoor facility now. So they ain't got to deal with what I dealt with. But up in this area, we play in the snow. We don't do the whole, it's too cold. Get out there. If it's not literally negative, we're out there playing. We shovel fields right before games. Like, we're out there, dog. This game reminded me that. You could see the grit, the passion, the determination that both sides had in wanting to win this game. The competitiveness was at an all-time high, and it was just exciting. One of those lacrosse games that is absolutely exciting to watch. And overtime really was just the extra cherry on top. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this game, especially the fact that they couldn't get it done in 5 minutes. So they had to go another 5. And an extra 10 minutes of lacrosse is always exciting to watch. Did you get a chance to view this game at all? Or, you know, highlights, anything, opinions about it, etc.?
No, I didn't get to watch it, but I was looking at the stat sheet, and I mean, Finn Morgan having 6 goals, and not just that he had 6, but if you go look at that fourth quarter, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 goals from him alone in the fourth, to actually take the lead late in the fourth too, is wild. And I mean, like you said, having overtime, I think sometimes overtime can be boring because it gets ended so quickly at times.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of see a good defensive battle as well is, I mean, you know, I like defensive battles. So
yeah, and it wasn't like for a lack of good opportunities. Like, both sides were creating opportunities in overtime. Both sides just made good defensive plays. Both sides made good saves. And I would arguably say both sides maybe missed a couple a little too high, a little too wide, and that creates just more time, more opportunities. There wasn't, to me, any part of this game that seemed bad. Even when Lehigh was down 12-6, it wasn't a bad 12-6. It just was we're creating our opportunities. They're just making plays. That's all it was. It wasn't like they're dominating them or Lehigh isn't playing well enough. It's just they're playing better. So I was really excited to see that back and forth in that game, and that was a great start to the weekend before we got into Saturday. A quick blitz on Saturday. Michigan over Marquette, 14-7. Syracuse over St. Joe, 20-2. We already talked Denver and Air Force. Maryland over Loyola, 19-10. I really just wish I could have watched it. But, you know, the game was on Big Ten Plus, and I ain't finna do all that. Richmond and Robert Morris, which loved that my Spiders were back in action. Loved watching them. Got them up to 17-7, or winning this game 17-7. So they start the year with a win. Couldn't be more happy. Just really sad to see Johns Hopkins and Georgetown be postponed again. I mean, at this point, if you play in a place that could be cold, like just have an indoor facility or be a man and go play. I kind of don't know what else to say about that. But we did have a pretty big overtime game this weekend. Nova over Penn State, 14-13. Also couldn't watch this game because it was on BTN Plus. But we saw the clips. We know what happened. What's your initial reaction to number 7 Penn State going down early to Villanova? Is it too early to react, or because granted, this was both of their first game of the year, so neither one of them has had anything outside of scrimmage play
Yeah.
before getting in action in this game, and also it is the beginning of February. So should anybody be reacting to anything like this, or is maybe this a warranted reaction to some point if some people are a little concerned?
I personally always think that one game reactions are overreactions because, like you said, it's early. You only had scrimmages. Also, the game went to OT. If we're talking about them getting blown out in 4 quarters, all right, that's one thing to be like, whoa, what happened? It was a 1-goal loss. It went to OT. Like, the ball bounced the wrong way for Penn State. It is what it is. Do I think that, like, we should just ignore it at the same time, though? Not necessarily. I think it's a good win for Nova. Obviously, when you got everyone picking against you, like, that's got to, put a chip on your shoulder a little bit, and they took it personally and finished, which is good. But yeah, as far as like the overreaction, I mean, we had a whole clip out that we put out about overreacting in February. Like, it's February. Now if Penn State does this again next week, all right. They do it again the third. All right. But it's week 2, like week 1, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Also, they still put up 13 goals as well. Like, it's not like they put up 7 goals or something like that. So.
Yeah, I just think like the only real concern anybody could have is like looking at maybe the offense or defense or either side and going like, hey, or maybe even goaltending or what their rope unit looks like, face off, whatever, and like comparing it to the Big Ten and going, hey, we could have an issue. Because like even you look at Rutgers, like Rutgers battled Jacksonville into overtime, won that game, and then Jacksonville turned around and almost beat North Carolina, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So that's obviously a very comparable team that can play very well. And Rutgers is at the top of their game after also another game we'll get into, only losing 12-10 this weekend to a ranked Army. So that's a matchup they have to think about. Hopkins, who we saw win their first game, we haven't seen them play again, but we know the firepower their offense has. And, anything can happen if you let that offense get on a roll. Is that something that Penn State is going to be able to compete with? We see Maryland still technically the number 1 team in the country, returning from the national championship last year. What are we going to see when they go down to play them? Michigan already has 2 wins under their belt this year, and they love the way that they're playing in a transition type of pace, going from offense to defense and using a 10-man ride to create chaos. Will Penn State be able to handle that? Like, there's so many questions you have to think about when comparing Penn State to the Big Ten. So that's where I could see some valid concerns showing up, but it would only be concerns, nothing to actually write home about so early. But like we just mentioned, North Carolina, Jacksonville, this game was close the entire game. Neither one of these teams really able to get any real separation until the end of the game, when North Carolina was able to come up with a couple clutch ones while Jacksonville was storming back to try and regain the lead. But ultimately, North Carolina comes out with the dub. Anything you saw notable here, or any reactions at all? I know you don't stray too far away from the West Side when it comes to college ball. You're trying. I do know that. So I do want to commend and give you your respect for trying, because I see it, Neff. I see it. But yeah,
if I can watch it, I'll watch it.
Did you get a chance to look at this, the box score, and have anything to say about it? See any clips? Have anything to say? Anything like that?
No, I mean, nothing crazy. I think for Jacksonville, it sucks that you're right there in 2 straight games. Obviously, Rutgers last week, and now North Carolina. It's like you want to get one of those, at least, if not both. But I mean, you just talked about a 2-goal quarter is essentially a 0-goal quarter at the pro ranks, and I mean they had 2 in the third and 0 in the second. So. At the same time, as much as I want to, say, oh, it sucks, like, at the same time, they kind of did it to themselves. Again, they're not giving up a ton of goals through 2 games, which is nice to see. But they also aren't putting up a lot of goals either. So it's kind of like it doesn't really do much because it kind of just cancels each other out. But it's, at least to me, I'm more of the positive mindset of like, you're in these games. Ty English only had 2 points in it, which is good to see. I think Owen Duffy only had 2 as well. So as far as defense goes, I like where they're at. Offensively, though, I think there's a little bit to be desired there still.
I would have to agree with you 100%. Like you said, you kind of put yourself there not scoring enough in a couple of those quarters. Like, I would say you have to limit yourself to one of those quarters. You're going to have some turnovers. They're going to, go on a run, or they're going to play well. Those kind of things happen within a game. And one quarter you can bear with. But if you're having 2 or 3 of those, it's going to be a very tough game for you. That's kind of just what Jacksonville ran into in this game. Another close one, 18th ranked Rutgers dropping to Army, 11-9, which, I mean, that the better that North Carolina and Rutgers play, the better those losses look for Jacksonville. They may be able to squeeze in if the rest of their schedule goes well for them. So, like, those are not terrible losses, especially because they were 1-point losses. But also, on the flip side, Rutgers and North Carolina need Jacksonville to play well within their conference, so it doesn't look like they played a not-so-good group of whatever team. I guess mid-major would be the way to go about that, yeah. A mid-major team that wasn't even at the top of their conference. That looks really bad if you play them close, regardless of the time of year. We see it affect other sports, other teams in other sports. It's going to roll over here as well. But did you get a chance to check in on the Army-Rutgers game? I mean, this is a game where low scoring, but, I mean, all you got to do is be consistent. That's really what Army did, 3-2, 3-3. Whereas you had Rutgers go 3-4-1-1. So Rutgers came out a lot stronger in the first half than they did in the second. You got to be able to play an entire 4 quarters.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a couple of clips. Obviously, I saw the one I think everyone saw of I'm blanking on his name right now, but I don't even know what you call it. He, like, jumped over a guy in the crease.
Oh, was it? It was Plunkett, right?
Dunked it. It must have been. No, Plunkett didn't have a goal in this game.
The other Plunkett. There's 2 Plunketts there right now.
Oh, Hill Plunkett?
Yeah.
Possibly. I'll have to double check.
I think that's his little brother.
All right, whoever it was, dog. I don't know how he had the stick skill to do that, but
insane,
absolutely wild,
insane.
But I mean, speaking of the Plunketts, both of them played pretty well. Gunnar Fellows, I think for Army, had an exceptional game, going 4 for 7 as far as shots on goal go is pretty good. 4 for 8 overall, so can't complain about that. They won the faceoff battle, and yeah, I mean, like you said, they were consistent. Rutgers, obviously, that second half, something's got to change. And this is back-to-back weeks now, too, where they've had low-scoring games. That is what it is, I guess. But if you're going to put up 1 goal in a quarter twice, that first half has to be way better than, I guess, because you can't have a second quarter or second half like that and expect to win games.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, you have to be able to go out and score. Like, at the end of the day, you got to be able to go out and score. One thing I really liked about playing defense and getting into a rhythm and a vibe with my teammates was defensively, we started coming up with a number, and we would tell our offense that number every game. Like, hey, we know we can confidently hold this team to 12 or less. So now our offense knows, hey, we just got to get to 13.
Yep.
If they hold their side of the bargain, we hold ours, we're going to win. And like that, I think that's kind of where some teams have to get. And, I think Army is a team that's comfortable with their defense kind of going to their offense and saying, hey, you get to double digits, we got you. Like, we can hold a lot of teams under double digits. If you can get to 10 or more, we can win a lot of games. So I think that's a healthy thing that you're seeing, and I think that may even be the case with Jacksonville. Jacksonville's kind of hovering where they're kind of like, hey, I think the defense kind of going the offense like, look, 10 is our sweet number. If you can get to 11 or you can get to 12, like we'll win a lot of games. We can hold teams to 10 or less, but you got to do your part to score a little more than that. And that's where teams are going to have trouble because, I mean, scoring the ball is what everybody's trying to do. It's what everybody's looking forward to. And that's what everybody is putting all of their resources towards stopping. So I really like the idea of what some of these teams have been able to do defensively early in the season to set their offense up for some success, both in the transition game and just knowing what they have to do to be successful.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, they I don't know how many of these were forced, but I mean, Rutgers had 17 turnovers in this game to 12 for Army.
Yeah.
That's at least 5 extra possessions for Army, and they won by 2. You know, they killed Rutgers in the ground ball battle as well. So to me, it's like those little things as well. That's just like you're saying, like, we'll hold them, just get to this one number and we're fine. And I mean, a team like Army, they're already disciplined in their everyday lives. If they're doing this every game on the lacrosse field, like, that's kind of scary.
It literally, like they could easily become a team that just gets into that mode. That's like, yeah, this is our job on this half of the field. This is our job over here. Our special teams know exactly what they have to do to contribute. And boom, we just focus on doing exactly that. That's a winning formula. It's a formula I tried to incorporate into coaching, and it's hard to get kids to be that confident. That's all I'll say. When you get to college and a little bit older in high school, you get a little bit more confident. But the kids, they're not having it. They're like, coach, 8? You think we can hold them to 8? I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'm honestly being generous. Like, these kids aren't good. You can definitely hold them to 8 or less. Like, stop it.
You got to start higher so that way when they hit 8,
yeah,
we played so well.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna have to trick them into doing that. Because then if I set it at like 10 and then we hold them to 8, be like, come on, guys. 8 was pretty easy. We can hold them to 6, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah. You need to be a coach, Hoots. You got some
my game plan would be awful.
Hey, vibes.
We'd be
smiles.
living in the box. I'd be
vibes and smiles.
Vibes and smiles when you're sitting in the penalty box.
You don't have to technically write any X's and O's. If you hire the right staff,
true.
All you got to be there for is vibes and smiles.
Hey, I know some coaches out here. I'm just gonna go join their staff.
See,
I'm gonna hand out candy on the sidelines or something for good plays.
Yes,
That's got to be motivating for some kids.
Hey, and in the summer when it's hot, you got to be that dude that's got the sprayer. You're just walking around hosing the guys.
Yes, I'm gonna put it on my resume, and it's just gonna be water sprayer.
So, can you tell us about your time as a water sprayer?
It's kind of in the name, actually.
I've never heard of that as a job. Could you imagine, like,
Dude, if I was a water boy, that's what I'd put as my title, just so they had to ask me. And I'd be like, oh, I distributed water for hydration to the athletes.
That would be great. The last game of this past weekend went down yesterday. Another big notable thing, NJIT and St. John's having to reschedule their game to the next day. NJIT did take down St. John's 17-10. They're 17-10. They're 2-0 to start the year. So maybe we're back on that NJIT undefeated train. What was that, 2 years ago that everybody was like, 2 or 3 years ago, where everybody was like, yeah, they're undefeated. How long are they going to be undefeated? They were undefeated for like 8 or 9 games, and then it finally came crashing down. But it was like a really long bit of like, oh, they're gonna be undefeated, and like, do they get in the tournament if they're undefeated? Like, how well will they do? And like, all and it ended up not panning out because after they lost like 5 games in a row, something like crazy like that. But the other game of that weekend, or the Sunday yesterday, was Virginia and Colgate. Virginia, 14th ranked in the country, ended up winning this game 19-14, but there were multiple times where they only led by a few. There were multiple times where they were down in this game. The scoring in this game was fantastic, though. This is the kind of scoring I want to see kind of from all teams. It doesn't matter. You can look at both sides. 3-5-4-2 for Colgate, 5-4-6-4 for Virginia. Couple more runs for Virginia was the only difference in what created the separation that they were able to get and to be able to win this game. But Colgate's done that 2 weeks in a row now. took a ranked team up to the pressure. They did the same. Wow, so that was Penn State's second game, actually. This is a little bit concerning. Even though Penn State won their first game against Colgate by 4, 18-14, then they went out and lost to Villanova in overtime, 14-13. Those are still good results for them, but it does make you kind of look at what they have going on moving forward. Then Virginia comes out. They also struggle against Colgate, so I guess that kind of helps Penn State's, case. Like, hey, we aren't the only ones that had trouble with this team. But I think it should make Colgate feel great going back to the Patriot League.
Yep.
You're not playing the caliber of Penn State and Virginia in the Patriot League. But the fact that you lost by 4 and 5 to those teams tells me you can play with those teams. You can compete at that level on a consistent basis because you did it in back-to-back weeks. You're playing at a level that is above Patriot League level. You're in for a good season, in my opinion. I don't think you let these two games. Like, I'm not a moral victory guy. We all know this. But I don't think you let these hang as like sorrowful losses either. I think you look and go, hey, this went well, this went well, this went well, this went bad, this went bad, this went bad. You make your game plan for your next week and you get after it in practice. But you don't hang on to these losses because they were quote-unquote great losses for you. Lost by 4, lost by 5 to 2 ranked teams that are most likely going to be in the NCAA tournament. And if they're not, they'll be right on the outside looking in. And they're far better than the competition you're going to play for most of the season. So you got to go out and just play as you have these first 2 weeks. You should see an abundance of success.
Yeah, and again, this is another game where like they just got killed in the turnover battle, and they turned the ball over 26 times. Like you clean up a couple of those, and all of a sudden, instead of it being a 5-goal loss, maybe you're actually tied. Maybe you actually find a way to pull it out in the end. But I didn't think they played bad at all. And like you said, you're not going to face this competition the rest of the season, pretty much. So 0-2 sucks, but at the same time, like you held your own against one of the better, more highly regarded teams in the country. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, literally, in my opinion, you go back to practice and just figure out, okay, were these turnovers forced? Were they errant passes? Is there something that we can fix that it wasn't just Virginia's, good defense? I mean, Virginia had dudes that had multiple cause turnovers, several of them. So obviously they played a part, but also it's like maybe you just were too aggressive at times, and all of a sudden now the ball is flying, and that goes down the other way and they score. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't feel bad about them at all right now. Virginia obviously putting up 19 is crazy. So I mean, good for them too. But at this point, I kind of want to see. I mean, I expect them to kind of score a bunch of goals every game.
Yeah, it looks like they're poised to run away with it in the Patriot League, but we'll see because that still has Army and Navy in it as well, and we know how well they're going to play. But Colgate should be near the top of that conference and really ball out there. So I'm really excited to see that. But before we talk about what we're looking forward to next week, quick run through of men's D2 and D3. Palm Beach Atlantic takes down Lee's McRae 12-11 on Friday. It's kind of really our only notable game from that day. On Saturday, Lander took down Coker 13-11. Shout out to my boy Coach Rhodes. Continue to do your thing down there as a grad assistant. First big dub of the year. Really awesome to see. Tampa and Lenore Rhine. Tampa took down Lenore Rhine 13-10. Flagler over Lynn 14-8. And then Lewis beat Walsh 15-8 on Saturday. And I think that was it was today, Monday. Your boys took a big L. Neff. 23-5 to Newberry. The boys are really struggling to start the year. I think, what is that, 0-4 now we have for them?
0-3.
0-3. You got a message? You got any encouraging words? Any opinions, thoughts on how it's looking early season for Lee's McRae?
Man, I I got nothing for these dudes. All right, look, we just got to put the ball in the back of the net, boys. It's literally it. All right. I know. I'm a big junior guy. All right. This is the second team he's been with, though, where the offense hasn't really, been great. Obviously, we know what happened with the Redwoods. I'm just saying, let's just try some different things. All right, we're 0-3. You got nothing to lose. I mean, I don't know if we need to start inverting every possession or change some dudes' positions. I have no idea. But, I mean, they gave up a goal 32 seconds into the game. Like, that can't happen. And I mean, just look at the play-by-play. It's just like tons and tons and tons of goals by Newberry over and over and over.
I mean, it is 23-5, so
It's like, come on, man. Keep them under 20. I don't know, man. I got nothing. I hope the boys turn it around. It's I mean, that second quarter, dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row for Newberry with no response. Oh my goodness! And then the fourth quarter, no response as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is, I don't know. Maybe they need to hire like a motivational speaker down there. I don't know. Something's got to happen though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go scoreless the whole second quarter and give up 6.
Yeah. I mean, it was 10-2.
Not even just no response, just you went scoreless.
Oh.
That I feel you though. The struggles I felt and voiced as a Redwoods fan when he was running the offense there. It was rough, and I didn't blame just him. I also had my reservations about like Rob Pennell being in that offense and other pieces that were there as well. So it wasn't just him, but it's common denominator starting to appear here.
I don't know what happened, but it was 3-2. And immediately after that, Newberry scored 10 in a row. So something happened between the 6:50 mark in the first quarter and the 8:56 mark in the third quarter to where they couldn't score a goal. So maybe this is just a rebuild, kind of building up year for his program. But I don't feel great about being game 3 and you're getting blown out by 18. Game 1, all right. Game 2, Game 3, though, was like, come on, boys.
Yeah, you got to start to put it together. You got to start to put it together. But bumping over to D3, RPI took down Keene 23-9. Sorry, Scotty, that's a rough one. Salisbury does Salisbury things. Took down Grove City 24-9. Those were the two matchups, literally the only two matchups on Friday. Michigan Dearborn beat Alma 19-1. Oh, Alma's really going through it. Alma currently plays in the MIAA, which is the conference that Adrian's in, which is Adrian, Alma, Albion, Kalamazoo, Calvin, Hope, and Trine. Olivet is also technically in, but Olivet, funny story here, had their lacrosse programs shuttered forever because they folded one too many times, so then the NCAA just took them away and told them they can never have them again. Their last season was my freshman year of college. So I got to play them once. So that's wild to see Michigan Dearborn do Alma like that. I mean, granted, Michigan Dearborn is NAIA, so that there is that little caveat there, but that's rough. Christopher Newport took down Hamden Sydney 10-7, a little bit closer than they'd probably like, but hey, a win is a win. Stevenson and Ohio Wesleyan ended up being postponed. Kenyon took down Transylvania 14-4. Pfeiffer over Rhodes 14-13 in overtime. So that's kind of the big things from D3. We'll go backwards, I guess. I don't think you're not very tuned into D2/D3. So I'm just going to run through some matchups that are happening there. St. Vincent, shout out to my boy Diggs, taking on Thiel on Tuesday. Nothing notable for us on Wednesday. Friday, we have nothing else really noticeable. Colorado College and Illinois Wesleyan, but do you shoot anything for CC? Or is that a little far away?
No, that's like an hour away for me.
Okay.
I mean, I would if they were closer, but
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. Keene and Eastern are going to ball on Saturday. Hamden, Sydney, and Pfeiffer. Kenyon and Adrian, which I'm super pumped for. Kenyon is a perennial ranked team. It's a team that my coach was an assistant coach for at the time before he came and coached us. He knows their program very well. They know him well. They're starting to build a relationship there where they're playing each other on a consistent basis. But it's a great litmus test to see how good Adrian is going to be for the year. So I'm excited to tune into this game. I'm going to have to find out how I'm going to watch it because it looks like, this game is at Adrian. So I just pray that it is not in the dome. Because if it's in the dome, I'm going to have to drive down there and watch it. I don't really want to do that because, that it's Valentine's Day. I feel like there's stuff going on that day. But we'll see what time that is and everything, and I may be able to make that work. If I'm there in person, that is going to be electric. You're going to get all kinds of live tweets and vibes from the boy. I can't say the boy. I got to say Unk. Man, gotta get used to that. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that game, whether I'm there in person or not. Dickinson and Stevens, excuse me. Westminster and St. Vincent on Saturday. So St. Vincent getting 2 games in this week for Diggs to worry about. Christopher Newport and Gettysburg. Washington and Lee and York, Salisbury and Scranton will all play on Saturday as well. Ohio Wesleyan and Grove City, Muhlenberg and Stevenson, Chatham and Ohio Northern, RIT and Denison will round out the weekend for our notable games in D3. That's Saturday. Got to go through Sunday, make sure we're not seeing anything here. RPI and Rhodes, along with Colorado College and Aurora, but that actually wraps up the weekend for D3. D2, I think there's a couple notable games coming up on the weekend. Friday, Lees McRae back in action against Dominican from California. You also have Walsh and Adelphi going to go to battle on Friday as well. Saturday, Lenore Ryan will play Rollins. Wingate and Florida Tech. Lincoln Memorial and Lander. Now, that's a big matchup for me personally. My boy, Coach Rhodes, is down there. He is at Lander after playing at Lincoln Memorial. So he played 4 years at Lincoln Memorial and then transferred to Lander as a grad assistant. So he's coaching and stuff down there. And his brother went to Lander and graduated 2 years before this, or a couple years ago. So huge family things going on with Rhodes down there. But this is a big matchup for him, playing his old school for the first time. So going to be rooting for Lander to come out with a victory there. So my boy feels good about it. You got Tampa and Flagler. They're going to be balling as well. UIndy and Lake Erie. Lewis and Seton Hill all on Saturday. Sunday, Lees McRae and Concordia University of Irvine. Adelphi and Frostburg State. St. Michael's and Walsh. And that wraps up the weekend there. Now, anything you are looking forward to for D1?
I mean, obviously it depends on what we can watch. That's not going to cost money. Denver, Utah, I'm excited for, especially just after watching Utah play Duke. I want to see how they match up with a team like Denver. I'm always kind of trying to watch Air Force as well, just because of proximity. Notre Dame, Marquette, interests me a good amount. I'm also going to try to watch that Cornell Albany game, just with Cornell going to be here in a couple of weeks. Interested to see how they play against Albany. Princeton, Penn State, talking about Penn State and their quote unquote struggle last week. I did pick Princeton to win it all as for more of a fun pick. So we'll see how they kind of play against Penn State. I think those are probably. Let me scroll up here. That's just Saturday too. I didn't even look at Friday.
Yeah. Saturday's
Maryland,
loaded.
Syracuse. Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, if I can watch that game, gotta watch that game. Otherwise, I think there are going to be some good games the rest of the way, but I think those are probably my biggest one. Oh, Georgetown Penn as well, since we haven't seen Georgetown yet. A little bit late to the party there, but assuming they don't get canceled again. So
Right. Some of the other notable games for the week that he didn't hit on, because he hit on a lot of great ones. There you go, Neff. Full slate for you. You are the boy. I can say that. Townsend and Hopkins are going at it tomorrow as we're recording this Tuesday. So probably as you're listening to this, 4 p.m. ESPNU, 17th ranked Townsend against 15th ranked John Hopkins. I wish I could watch the Michigan game against Mercy, but that's going to be on Big Ten Plus, so I'm not wasting my time or money with that. Nothing notable for us on Wednesday. Friday, High Point, North Carolina. Everybody knows how I feel about High Point and Richmond playing these bigger schools. They give them a run every single time, and one or both of them comes out with a big-time win every single year. So I don't think this year will be any different. And then obviously the big 1 p.m. or the big 1-2 matchup on ACC Network. The cool thing is both High Point, North Carolina, and Maryland, Syracuse will be available for us to watch through ESPN as ACC Extra / ACC Network games. So I'm really hyped to get a chance to watch those. Is there anything you missed on Saturday I want to point out? I think maybe Townsend has a chance to be pretty solid depending on what happens with Townsend on Tuesday. Virginia and Richmond, please. And Virginia has to go to Richmond. I'm so pumped for that game. It is on ESPN Plus, so that'll be viewable. Penn State and Princeton, ESPN Plus will be viewable. Yale and Army, ESPN Plus will be viewable. Those are all 12 p.m. starts. Michigan also plays Lehigh 1 p.m., so I think that might be a solid matchup for Michigan. Lehigh is coming up to Ann Arbor, so that could play a factor there as well. Loyola and John Hopkins, as long as they play. That's ESPN Plus 1 p.m. game. You brought up Cornell and UAlbany. That will be ESPN Plus. Ohio State and Air Force will also be ESPN Plus. Those are all 1 p.m. starts. Denver and Utah, which I will be watching, is at ESPN Plus as well. Marquette and Notre Dame, ESPN Plus, along with Georgetown and Pennsylvania. Denver and Utah are 2 p.m. Notre Dame and Marquette is a 3 p.m. start. And Georgetown, Pennsylvania is a 3:30 p.m. start. So Saturday, absolutely loaded. Sunday, Duke and North Carolina, Boston University are all in action, but they're kind of against teams that are maybe not quite so on their level. Maybe the Dartmouth-Boston game could be kind of good, but I don't think Ionia gives North Carolina a real push. And Vermont, who hasn't played yet, is going to play a Duke team that has already gotten 2 games in. I don't see that going all that well for Vermont. And then Monday, we get a lone game. My Spiders back in action on ESPN Plus at noon against Mercer. Mercer's 2-0, though. So I'll be excited to see what the Spiders are going to be able to push out at them. Quick run through of the women's game. Anything you see in the D1 women's that pops out at you?
Hang on one sec.
Which, quick update, by the way,
everything.
Northwestern is currently leading Colorado 7-6 with 6:36 to go in the third over on Big Ten Plus as we are recording.
It's a closer game than I thought it'd be. Okay.
Right?
Let me scroll through here because we got Wednesday. Holy cow. Wednesday's a huge slate in the women's game. Richmond, Virginia's on Wednesday. Duke and Pittsburgh is Thursday.
You got a
Michigan, Florida, Friday.
Got a ranked matchup. Loyola, Maryland, John Hopkins, 9 versus 20 on Wednesday as well at 4 p.m. Wish that one was on ESPN.
Oh, yeah. I missed this because NCAA won't update their rankings on their website.
That and they don't really put times.
It's ridiculous. I don't. But, Saturday, Nova, Navy. I'm trying to think. Virginia, Maryland play Saturday as well. They kind of loaded up the women's slate the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, Friday's got a crazy slate too.
Oh, wow.
19 Michigan versus 4 Florida, 12 p.m. You got ACC Network giving us number 1 North Carolina versus number 14 Syracuse, 2:30 p.m. on Friday. You also got 16 ranked Notre Dame, who's 2-0 already this year, taking on 3rd ranked Boston College, 4 p.m. ACC Extra on that Friday as well. Anything else?
Duke Hopkins on Sunday.
Stanford Clemson. I don't know if you brought that up. 12 p.m.
Is that Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday, 12 p.m.
Yeah.
ACC Extra. Virginia and Maryland, 12 p.m. Big Ten Plus. That's 15 versus 7. Stanford's 5. Clemson's 8.
Wow.
Didn't know that was popping off. You got Army and Northwestern. Army's 17. That's going to be a Big Ten Plus game at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Like you said, this women's slate early in the year is absolutely loaded. 16 Harvard versus 23, or 16 Notre Dame versus 23 Harvard on Sunday at noon. Hopkins and Duke, 9 versus 13, 3 p.m. ACC Extra on Sunday. And yeah, I don't see anything on Monday that's super popping out. But what did we do to be spoiled with a slate like that to start the year?
I know. Every day from literally today to through the week. The next 2 weeks, there's games every single day.
Just
on the
littered.
side.
Just littered. And they're good games, too. Like, these aren't, like, cupcake games for a lot of teams. Like, these are a lot of ranked matchups going down in these games. It's insane.
Uh-huh.
But with that being said, that moves us right over into our Riverside games of the week, which are powered by, yes, you guessed it, Riverside. We made the switch to Riverside a couple months ago as a company. It has changed our entire productivity level on its head, from our enhanced audio quality in episodes, easy-to-use editing tools, including a built-in editing bay for all of our shows on the network, and the fastest way to cut clips, segments, and funny moments for all of our shows. Plus, it is an absolute bargain compared to the competitors. Use our link in the description to get your podcast, webinars, or video projects looking and sounding pristine with Riverside. Talk to me about your Riverside game of the week.
This is a tough one. I don't remember what I said last week.
And give me one, before we get too far, give me one for men's and women's D1.
All right. I think the obvious choice is Syracuse, Maryland. But I'm most excited as a fan to watch Princeton, Penn State. You know, I like a lot of what Princeton brings to the table. I just told the people I'm not freaking out about Penn State, excuse me. So we'll see where that goes. So from the men's side, I'm picking Penn State, Princeton. On the women's side, man, there's too many good games.
It's going to be hard. I'll let you look through that women's slate real quick while I throw out my men's game of the week. I'll start with the fact that I guess you guys all know my game of the week. It's Kenyon coming up to play Adrian. I can care anything else about what anybody else got to say. That's my true game of the week. What I will say is, if this game is at Docking Stadium, everybody can watch. All you have to do is go to YouTube, click in Adrian College TV. The game will be streamed right there. You'll see it. And yes, it is a student-run broadcast, so save your comments, as Neil would say. unless you have run a student run / led broadcast, don't say a word to us. Just enjoy the game and move on. There is a comment section though, so you can leave comments and tips and concerns there. And as long as you're not being rude, they will most likely take them as good constructive criticism and work on them in the future. So that's my initial game of the week. That's the most important one. Everybody else, it's going to be fun to watch, but you just don't compare. Am I going to go with the obvious here? Oh, no. I'm not going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go with my boys. It's Virginia coming to Richmond. That's going to be my men's game of the week. That's the one that everybody's got to watch. When the game's going to be on ESPN Plus. So as long as you have an ESPN Plus subscription, you have no reason not to watch it. So that's my men's game. You got a women's game for me yet?
Yeah, but I'm going to take your girls, Michigan, Florida.
Ooh, I do like that matchup. I think it's very intriguing. Especially because
the women's slate has a lot of good games. So you have your pick of the litter, but I think that's a sneaky good one that people might not necessarily overlook, but just not pick off the top of their head.
I'm so torn. Between Stanford, Clemson, and
that's a good one too.
Just to pretty much be on another day. But the Notre Dame Boston College game intrigues me so much because I feel like Notre Dame is looking at it as an opportunity to really move up the ranks and be like, hey, we're kind of disrespected here at 2-0 at 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Boston College is also coming in probably feeling like they have to prove themselves after losing to Northwestern. Granted, they're 0-1. They lost to the number 2 team in the country, but they still probably feel like they have to prove. There's so much going into that game that both sides are trying to prove that I think it creates a blockbuster environment to be in an absolutely amazing game. When that game is out at Boston College. So that also means that energy already out there for a women's game is phenomenal. And now you're going to add that to it. I think that's a great game, but I don't think you can overlook what it means for Stanford and Clemson to be 5-8 and to be playing in a women's lacrosse game ranked 5th and 8th in the country. I think that's huge, and they will tell you how huge that is. And I think that game has a lot of energy coming into it too. So I think the women's side, I'm going to go co and just say both of those games because I really can't choose. And really, you can't go wrong watching any women's lacrosse this weekend because, as we mentioned probably 5 times already, it is absolutely loaded of a slate this weekend. Anything else you got before we get out of here for the week?
Nope, that's it. Hope Lisa McRae can figure it out. Hope the Pilots get a dub. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for some really great lacrosse. Obviously, I want to continue to see Blue do well. Michigan lacrosse looks great on both sides, even though the women took a loss. They took a loss to a good team last week, and it was something they can learn from and bounce back from. So I'm really excited to see them play Florida and try and get a huge ranked victory on the road. And I'm excited to see if Michigan can keep their winning ways going on the men's side. And obviously, I'm super pumped for what Adrian has coming up this weekend. Once again, like I said, that game is in Docking Stadium. Check it out on YouTube, Adrian College TV. See if the boys can take down Kenyon in what I think will be a great game. But if I happen to be there, the live tweets will be flying. So you can just watch my Twitter if you don't want to get all on YouTube. But with that being said, do not forget to subscribe to the pod. Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff at The Underground Industries. And then on Twitter, it is at VU Industries. Make sure you follow the overarching brand everywhere there. You can find Outside the Box, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere at Outside the Box or OTB Lax Pod. Uh, don't forget also to follow and subscribe to youtube.com/underground, or excuse me, /outside the box, because that is where this podcast lives. You also get exclusive content from the pro version of Outside the Box podcast, coming with all types of exclusive videos, interviews, and all of that good content. Don't forget to follow my nephew sitting across from me everywhere at Hoots Sports Media. You can follow me on Twitter, SCS_next great. You can find me now on Instagram, Uncle Deej12. You can find all my other socials through those two socials. And that is going to send you into another weekend of what is going to be phenomenal lacrosse everywhere. We're excited for it, and we will be back next week with another episode of Outside the Box College Show, which is presented to you by 47 and our people at Riverside. Peace.
Peace.